When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk, people.
A pleasant good evening. Good night to everyone. Welcome to the Make We Talk program this evening. We're going to have President of the People's National Party Women's Movement, Mrs. Patricia Duncan Sutherland, will be our special guest this evening. We're going to speak about what happened in the Parliament of Jamaica, where they are saying that Mr. Golden is very sexist. That's the remarks a lot of the Labour Party have been making, that Mr. Golden is very sexist in his remarks or his comment on what happened in the Parliament. So this evening, we're going to have with us, Patricia Duncan Sutherland will be our guest speaker, or well, our guest this evening to speak to us. We're going to ask some questions about what happened. In the meantime, Jamaicans from all walks of life. Hold on a minute. Yes, Jamaicans from all walks of life. I forgot I need to put the mic closer to me. Jamaicans from all walks of life this afternoon or tonight are still saying that Mr. Golden, or Mr. Holness rather, did the wrong thing. What he should have done is allow Mr. Golden to comment, allow Mr. Golden to finish his budget presentation. Mr. Holness is going to speak in the Parliament tomorrow. Mr. Holness should allow Mr. Golden to finish his presentation, and then tomorrow he can comment. Comment on what Mr. Golden said. But to get up and walk out of the Parliament of Jamaica, that's to show you the regard that the Prime Minister and the members of the Labour Party have for the Jamaican people. Yes, they have walked out before, but never in the history of Jamaica has any Prime Minister rather, walk out an opposition leader when he's giving his presentation to the budget debate. And quite frankly, you're not hearing me? You're not hearing me at all? Microphone testing 1, 2, 3. Are you hearing me? Anyone hearing me through the mic? What's going on here? Hold on for me. Oh, Jesus. Are you hearing me through the mic? Are you hearing me? Okay, thank you very much. Thank you, because I thought he said he wasn't hearing me. Thank you so much. Yes. What I was saying is this, that Mr. Golden, in his presentation to the Parliament of Jamaica, the Prime Minister should allow him to finish his presentation. When the Prime Minister gets up and walk out of the Parliament, that is to show you the regard, the strong regard the Prime Minister for the Jamaican people. And every member of the Labour Party get up and walk out. Never in the history of independent Jamaica this ever happened. Never in Jamaica's history. But that is to show you the regard the Prime Minister of Jamaica has for the Jamaican people. And tonight we're going to dig deep in it. We're waiting on the good lady to join us. As soon as she does, we'll go deep in the conversation. We are Jamaicans, and I'll tell you something. In a situation like this, I don't think we should be a member of any political party. I think we should be Jamaicans. And I think we should speak the truth. That's what I think. I think we should speak the truth. And the truth is, the rules of the Parliament. And I've been hearing some things going around that Mr. Golden breaks some rules of the Parliament and by attacking Mrs. Holness and whatever. Did he attack Mrs. Holness? I think the goodly gentleman, Mr. Mark Golden, is asking the Jamaican people, is asking on the behalf of the Jamaican people from the Speaker of the House. He's asking the Speaker of the House to tell the Jamaican people, when are you going to table the report? It is inside there. You're sitting on it. And I'm pretty much sure the people of Jamaica want to know what is going on. The people of Jamaica want to know what is really going on. And for him to ask the question and know it's a problem where the opposition get up and walk out. And the Prime Minister says it's a low blow. It's a low blow. Low blow where? Low blow where? Huh? Low blow where? It's not a low blow. It's not a low blow at all. It is not a low blow. We're asking questions. And he asks a question in the Parliament in his budget debate. In his budget presentation. And I'm pretty much sure the good gentleman deserves an answer. So for the Prime Minister to get up and say it's a low blow and it's a low this and a low that, it's utter rubbish. And the behavior of the Prime Minister on Tuesday is a boyish behavior. It's a childish behavior. What you should have done, Mr. Holness, as I stated before, is wait until the opposition leader finishes his speech. And then on Thursday, sir, you come and you deal with Mark Golden in the Parliament of Jamaica, in the People's Parliament. That is the People's Parliament, Mr. Holness. Mr. Holness. It is the People's Parliament. And if you think you walk out on Mr. Golden and members of the People's National Party, you think again. You are the government, you walk out on your own self. And the people of Jamaica. You have no scant regard for the people of this country, sir. For you to get up and walk out and have feelings that you have to walk out. You put yourself up there, you and your wife. You're not above criticism, Prime Minister Holness and Mrs. Holness. And I do not see wherein in Mr. Golden's presentation to the Parliament of Jamaica that he's being sexist and attacking Mrs. Holness. I heard on a radio station this morning where Olivia Babsy-Grange, the Deputy Leader of the House, Olivia Babsy-Grange is saying that Mr. Golden is a hypocrite. A hypocrite in what way? The opposition is put there to ask the questions, to present the presentation to the Parliament of Jamaica. Mr. Mark Golden, Julian Robinson have been asking from day one about the report. And we hear nothing about it. We on the Make We Talk program and Reason Ratigan have been asking the same questions. Madam Speaker, sit down and the report. Madam Speaker, sit down on the report and refuse to table the report. She refused to table the report. So is it that we must not ask questions? Is it that the taxpayers of this country must just shut them out because the king and the queen is in charge? And we must not ask any question of the king and the queen? I don't think so. The Jamaican people deserve better. The Jamaican people deserve answers. And for Olivia Babsy-Grange to be saying that Mr. Gordon is a hypocrite, and for others within the Labour Party to be saying that Mr. Gordon is sexist. In what way is he sexist? So what are they saying to us? What are they saying to us? That we, the Jamaican people, must just shut our mouth. We must not have anybody asking any questions for us. In which modern democracy can a prime minister for a country has not declared his declarations and still be the prime minister? In which modern democracy can the Speaker of the House refuse to table an integrity report and still be the Speaker of the House? Only in Jamaica. Only in this country of ours. Because what? There is something on Mr. Gordon's Facebook page that I want to read to you. Where is the report? The two Auditor General report sent to the Parliament to be tabled. Let me read it again for you. The two Auditor General report sent to the Parliament have not been tabled. 1. A special report on the Finance Service Commission submitted December 28, 2023. 2. A special report on the Tax Administration, Jamaica submitted on January 29, 2024. Until now, the Speaker of the House, Mrs. Juliet Holness, have not tabled any. Have not tabled any. And from Mr. Gordon to say this in his budget debate, in his budget presentation, he has all right to say it. He has all right to say it. In which modern democracy can this nonsense continue to happen more than in Jamaica? Mark Jefferson Gordon gave a brilliant speech yesterday. And although he wasn't allowed to finish his speech, he went out in front of the Parliament of Jamaica to present his budget presentation to the people of this country. And I say, hail the man, respect the man. Never in the history of Jamaica an opposition leader could not finish his presentation. Never in the history of Jamaica a prime minister walk out an opposition leader who is giving his budget presentation. Never in the history of this country. Let's just show you the regard that the Labour Party government have for the people of this country. Let's just show you the regard that Prime Minister Michael Andrew Holness and all of them, the disrespect the Jamaican people yesterday. Mr. Holness, if you think you walk out on the People's National Party and go and Mr. Mark Gold, you make a sad mistake, sir. You walk out on the Jamaican people, sir. You walked out on the Jamaican people, Mr. Prime Minister. You walked out on the Jamaican people, sir. And yes, the People's National Party voted, says yes, we want Mrs. Holness as Speaker. It's a Westminster tradition. If my memory serves me correctly. The opposition House leader, who is Philip Powell, was given whether it is a piece of paper or something to read before the voting of the Speaker of the House. They all voted on it. They all get up and congratulate the new Speaker. Down to very Peter Phillips went and congratulated her. But the fact of the matter is, do not come, Mr. Holness, and tell the Jamaican people that Mark Jefferson Golden disrespected your wife. In what way, Mr. Golden disrespected your wife, Mr. Holness? In what way opposition leader Mr. Mark Jefferson Golden disrespected your wife, sir? By asking the question about the Integrity Commission report, sir? Huh? Is this the country, Mr. Holness? Is this the country that you and the Governor General talk about a 2030 vision to live and work and raise family? Is this the country talk about moral values and attitude? Huh? Is this really the Jamaica you're talking about, Mr. Golden, Mr. Holness? Where you, Mr. Holness, has disrespected the people of Jamaica? You have disrespected the Parliament of Jamaica? You have disrespected every single member of the Jamaican diaspora? When you did not allow a duly elected opposition leader to finish his presentation to the Parliament of Jamaica, you get up and walk out. Because we must not ask any questions about what is going on in the Parliament. The Jamaican people mustn't ask any questions about the nepotism and the cronyism that is going on. Huh? 2 Auditor General report sent to the Parliament of Jamaica have not been submitted, have not been tabled. Not submitted, has not been tabled. 1, a special report. Lord, I can't send the call now, you know. 1, a special report on the Financial Service Commission submitted on December 28, 2023. 2, a special report on Tax Administration Jamaica submitted January 29th, 2024. Why, Mrs. Holness, do not want to table those reports? It was submitted to you, Mrs. Holness. Tell the Jamaican people, since you understand Mark Golden disrespect, you know. Come and tell the Jamaican people, Mrs. Holness, why you refuse to table these 2 reports that was sent to you by the Auditor General department of this country? Please tell me. Huh? Please tell me. We, the people of this country, we need answers. We're waiting. We're awaiting Mrs. Patricia Duncan Sutherland. Oh, here she is. Good night, Mrs. Sutherland. Lord, I'm not hearing her at all. She needs to fix her mic and her camera. We're gonna bear with her. I'm pretty much sure she's working on that. I'm not hearing her at all. Hello?
Hello? Are you hearing
Yes,
me?
I'm hearing you now, but you're going in and out.
Okay. Is it any better?
Very much better now. Can we see on camera? Is it possible?
I
Or
am
not?
trying to get my camera to start up. I'm not sure why it's not starting, but
Okay.
um,
Maybe what you need to do is go out and come back in with the camera and mic one time.
okay, and let me try that.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay. We're going to have our special guest this afternoon, this evening, tonight here. The president of the People's National Party Women's Movement, Mrs. Patricia Duncan Sutherland, the daughter of the late veteran politician, Dr. D.K. Duncan. We need some talking points in the sense of some clarification what is going on. Because when you sit and you listen, as a matter of fact, let us put up this thing here. Let us put up this here because we need to let this sink in because when Mrs. Sutherland come back on, we're gonna make this play. We're gonna let this play. How on earth must we as Jamaicans just sit down and accept what is going on in the parliament? Huh? In the Westminster system in London, the speaker have to resign from the party and just remain a speaker. Jamaica is a part of the Westminster system. But what happened? That we need to amend our constitution. And we're having constitution reform. And so I believe that in the reform of our constitution, the Jamaican people must ask that the Speaker of the House must not be political joint to any party. I believe the Speaker should be independent. And I believe that the Speaker should not be aligned to the Prime Minister. Why Mrs. Holness didn't say, you know what? Let me not take up, I'll still remain Deputy Speaker. But can you elect somebody else? People are saying that the People's National Party helped to vote on it. Yes, they did. And they have to help. And even if they did not vote for her to become Speaker, I believe that the governing Jamaica Labour Party would have override everything and she still became Speaker. What happened to me tonight? Why am I stuttering like this? Run, Andrew, run. Mark Golding a come. But when you saw yesterday the Prime Minister of a country, what sort of example and how does that look on the international scene? Want to see what is going on? The cookies crumbling around the Prime Minister, you know. The cookies crumbling around the Prime Minister of this country. When I say the cookies crumbling, the DPP, she's in deep, you know what, to her head. And now the Prime Minister is adding some salt to the wound. By walking out of the Parliament of this country. Why on earth? What on earth is going on in Jamaica? I tell you something, you know. I tell you all the while, you know. I'm going to do a series on it, you know. I'm going to do a series on it. We need to do a series on Sri Lanka. The people of Sri Lanka had enough of the dynasty of one family running Sri Lanka. And what they did was take to the streets in Sri Lanka and say, enough of you. Because in the Parliament of Sri Lanka, you have the president who is the father, the brother is the Minister of Finance, the other brother is the Minister of National Insecurity and Injustice, the other brother is the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the other brother is the Minister of Defense, and the uncle is the Minister of this Agriculture, and the sister is the Minister of Gender and Youth and whatever. There's a whole family running to Sri Lanka. That's what we want for Jamaica. Is that what we want for Jamaica? Oh, here she is. Here she is.
Hello, hello.
How are you?
I am good. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. I see my country going down a slippery path and a slippery slope.
Yes, we are seeing some signs of that.
Indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, I have with me the President of the People's National Party Women's Movement, Mrs. Patricia Duncan Sutherland. Welcome to the Make We Talk program. I think it's your first time on here.
Yes, it is my first time, Jeffrey. Thank you very much for having me.
You are welcome. Mrs. Sutherland, what is going on in the Parliament?
Well, I believe that we are having a crisis in governance in Jamaica. There are several signs, and it is contributing even further to the low trust environment that we have. We know it is critical for us to change that trust environment between the people of Jamaica and politicians in Jamaica if we're going to shift in Jamaica. And one feature of the poor governance has been the selection of the wife of the Prime Minister, the spouse of the Prime Minister, as the Speaker of the House.
Yes.
Mhm. And so it was pointed out by the leader of the opposition. And instead of sitting and having a discourse about it or responding to it in his speech that is to come on Thursday, his budget, his participation in the budget debate, the Prime Minister chose to walk out of Parliament at that point and therefore render the Parliament to have less than a quorum at that point because the other members on his side walked with him. That in and of itself is an indication of the conflict of interest that is presented, because in the Parliament we should be able to have discourse of that nature around problems that we are having within the Parliament. If we see a conflict of interest, that should be a conversation that could be had without impacting anybody's emotions.
Before we go any further, Mrs. Duncan Sutherland, let me make it let me say this. I have invited the mayor of Montego Bay, Mr. Richard Vernon, to come on the program this evening. Okay. And I hear nothing more from him. He has not responded to me at all. So don't bother think that I was trying to make this be a PNP think? Because a lot of Jamaicans love to think one-sided. You can't think straight.
Well, I'm hoping that we will get to the place one day that we can hear each other. Persons choose a party that they would like to be aligned with based on the principle that a party pushes forward. And they choose that in the context of wanting to work for their country and with their country to make their country better. So I'm hoping that one day we'll get to the state where we can truly hear each other, even as we trade either criticisms or accolades, that we'll be able to hear each other and to be able to pull out the best ideas for the youth in the country.
Let me ask you this question, Mrs. Duncan. I want to put you back down when you were growing up, in a sense. We grew up in a political home. You, myself.
Yes.
And we have never seen where we have a presentation given by an opposition leader and a prime minister walk out. Have you ever seen that in all the years coming up in Jamaica, man?
Never, never, never.
So when this happened in the Parliament of Jamaica, Mrs. Duncan Sutherland, don't you think this sending a bad message to the international community?
I believe so. And I believe that when they sit and think about what they did to abruptly adjourn the sitting of Parliament because they did not agree with something that was said, I think they will consider that that was ill-advised and doesn't work well for democracy. It shows that they are not ready to have a conversation about the democracy to be able to advance ideas or hear other ideas. And if they can't hear it in the Parliament, how are they going to hear it from the people on the ground?
My God. Yesterday when I saw it, I was like, because I was bringing it live on my YouTube channel. And I was saying to myself, what on earth is going on here? Let me play this for everybody to see. Because what happened? When Mr. Golden, when opposition leader Mark Golden, did not get the opportunity to finish his budget presentation, he did what a Michael Mann would have done. Or a DK Duncan.
Yes.
Or a Jim Thompson.
Yes.
And I can call other names. Or a PJ Patterson. And I'm pretty much sure if Edward Seaga was alive, he would have never done that to Michael Manley.
Well, he wouldn't do that, but he did other things. I was just reminded of the time when he carried a laughing machine to Parliament and played it during Michael's speech. But at least he sat there during the speech. I was just remembering, I wrote my English literature essay on it, relating it to the bleating pigs in Animal Farm.
Give us a look at history about that, Mrs. Duncan.
Well, that was in about 1982, I believe it was, during the budget debate. Michael, as then leader of the opposition, was making his presentation. Seaga carried a laughing machine to Parliament. And while he was speaking at different points, would play the laughing machine.
Wow.
Yes. And so at the time I was in fifth form, and I was, so I wrote an essay on it. I did my literature exam. I wrote an essay on it, speaking to the fact that I likened it on to the bleating pigs that were used as the chorus went to drown out one of the other leaders when they were trying to take over the leadership on the farm. One pig was trying to take over the leadership. I don't remember the names of the pigs, but that's what I likened it on to.
You
know?
Let us go to let's listen to what Mr. Golden said when he came out of the Parliament, because he was not allowed to finish his presentation to the people of Jamaica. Mr. Golden asked some very serious questions in his presentation. And one of them, or the two of them, I read it before you came on. I want to read it again. The two Auditor General reports sent to the Parliament have not been tabled. One, a special report on the Finance Services Commission submitted December 28, 2023. Two, A special report on the tax administration of Jamaica submitted January 29th, 2024. Mrs. Holness sit down on it and have not tabled this until this blessed day. And it begs to ask the question, Mrs. Duncan Sutherland, what is going on?
Well,
And that
there's
is, go ahead.
two questions it raises. One, is it that because of her conflict of interest in that her husband is the Prime Minister of Jamaica and therefore the leader of the JLP, that if these reports reflect badly on the government, it would reflect badly on him, and she's protecting his reputation. So that's one possibility. Or the other possibility is that she just does not have the ability to be impartial and to allow for the good operation of Parliament to deal with the in the accountability framework that we have set up as a country. And a critical part of the accountability framework is the Auditor General, and to be able to table those reports in Parliament so that Jamaicans can understand what's going on in the different organizations that are set up to serve them. So there is two options, and one looks pretty obvious in terms of her conflict of interest. Whether it is just acting out of it or not, it exists, and we know that generally speaking, in any industry, in any sphere that you work in, where there's a conflict of interest, it is best practice to recuse yourself.
Yeah.
So why did she take that role? And then in taking that role, when appearing to apply partiality to that role, by not tabling the different reports that are put before the Parliament and by not sharing the legal opinion given to the Parliament, given to the Speaker on behalf of the parliamentarians, right? To say what should be the basis on which or when to share a report. She did not share that legal opinion. And then to send all of the integrity reports to the integrity committee on the Integrity Commission first, that is made up primarily of government members. And so therefore, again, putting a muzzle effect on sharing that information with the wider public so we can have transparency in government and so we can have better governance because we have a higher level of accountability.
Mrs. Duncan, do you believe by the opposition leader in his presentation referred to Mrs. Holness, you think that he's being sexist?
Not at all. And as I said in our press release, we are very clear that when you conflate, when there's an issue that involves a woman in public life or even within an organization, and that woman is either criticized or an problem is pointed out where the woman is involved in that particular situation, like this conflict of interest. To say that every time you refer to a woman, it becomes a misogynistic statement is a misnomer. And it is a problem for the world because it then diminishes the fact that we are moving for gender parity, and gender parity means equality in opportunity and equality in accountability. He said nothing about her physical appearance. He said nothing about her ability. He spoke to the results that she was producing, and he spoke to the fact that a conflict, an inherent conflict of interest, exists because she is the wife of the leader of the government.
You know, why I asked the question, and I'm pretty much sure you have heard
Yeah.
the JLP, Olivia Babsy Grange is saying, and a nationwide this morning, she and the president of the Senate, Mrs. Olivia Babsy Grange said, or Miss Olivia Babsy Grange said that the opposition leader is a hypocritical person. And I'm asking the question. Go ahead.
No problem. No. You're asking the question.
I'm saying to myself, in what way is he being hypocritical by speaking on behalf of the Jamaican people about the Integrity Commission report? Or the general report, rather.
I think that is a smokescreen. I think there must be some amount of embarrassment about their actions yesterday in terms of walking out of the House. And the Prime Minister's reaction to the fact that the opposition leader identified an issue with respect to the position that his wife holds in the Parliament. His reaction in and of itself displayed that conflict of interest. And so, with that level of shame and conflict within themselves as a party, I guess as a political being, they are looking for a deflection. But it is not really. It's a dangerous thing for Minister Grange to do because as we are making strides towards gender parity, as we are moving to change the mindset around the acceptance of women in the in different spheres of leadership, if we are not able to hold women as accountable as men, then it will
Mhm.
take us steps backward because people will be afraid to put women in positions because they say they will not be able to hold them accountable. And
Mhm.
we are not talking about criticizing a woman because she's a woman, but criticizing the work and the output, or criticizing a position that is held because it is a conflict, right? Now,
Mhm.
if it were a man as a speaker and his wife were the prime minister, the conflict would still exist.
Indeed.
The conflict would still exist.
When you look at all of that and you hear people are saying, Jamaicans are saying, but the People's National Party voted for the speaker.
Yes.
How are they coming out now and Mark Golden is saying this and Mark Golden is saying that? Jamaicans, both home and abroad, are saying that is being hypocritical.
And I do understand that. But you know, the traditions of the Westminster system that we are a part of
Mhm.
says that the government gets to choose their speaker, right?
Yes,
Now, and usually though there's some amount of consultation with the opposition before.
right.
When MP Juliet Holness was being selected as the Speaker of the House, there was not consultation prior to, and we were
Mhm.
not notified prior to. And
Mhm.
so the tradition in the Parliament is that script is provided by the clerk of the House, and to the leader of opposition business, so that the leader of opposition business seconds the nomination of the leader of government business for the
Mhm.
Speaker. And
And
so,
sorry, and that's a tradition in our Westminster system.
yes,
Okay,
and
go
this
ahead.
was a tradition that was followed
Yes.
without, and this was without any consultation, but saying, today we are going to elect a speaker seat here, right? And with
Oh.
that done, right, the opposition leader was not in the House at the time, right? And our leader of opposition business, MP Paulwell, followed the tradition.
Mhm.
Having that been done, giving it a chance, even though the inherent conflict exists, we
Mhm.
continued. This happened last year sometime. I don't remember
Yes.
which month it was,
Mhm.
but this is the first budget debate that we are having since that happened. And usually in Parliament, you're limited on what you can speak on. You can't just generate. It's not. There's no free. Um, you can't just raise any topic at any time,
Right.
right? And so this is the first time that the opposition leader is getting to speak unfettered in his budget debate around
Mhm.
issues that are impacting the country.
Mhm.
And since that time, as Speaker, she has acted and done things that indicates that there is some partiality in her work and in the way that she's carrying out her duties as Speaker.
Mhm.
In particular, as I said before, the withholding of the legal opinion that speaks to how reports from the Integrity Commission should be treated
Mhm.
and other reports. Two, the withholding of the two Auditor General reports. right?
Mm-hmm.
And so, in that context of those actions and the inherent conflict, he felt it necessary to raise it at this point, and we
Yeah.
support him in raising it.
And I think a lot of Jamaicans support him too, Mrs. Duncan Sutherland. I think so.
And her actions have actually caused much chatter in the wider public around, is she really being impartial or not? Is she acting as a speaker? Because once a speaker starts to block things from coming to Parliament, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
was not the first, it was not that she blocked and we were quiet. Every time she blocked, different MPs would ask, why aren't you allowing that report to be tabled? MP Julian Robinson asked several times.
Yes.
MP
And MP Fitz Jackson have been asking questions
has
too.
been asking as well. Several MPs have been asking. And she has just said that is her purview. She is the speaker.
Do you think, as a Jamaican citizen, take off your political hat, do you think, as a Jamaican citizen, that we're talking about constitutional reform? Don't you think that there should be something enshrined in our constitution pertaining to the Speaker of the House? In the
I
sense of,
believe that we need to look at this a
yes.
little deeper. I do believe there are lots of stuff, things that we need to look at in our constitutional reform, more than just simply the removal of the king as the head of state. We
Mm-hmm.
have to look at our final court. The Caribbean Court of Justice is what we are pushing and continue to push. Um, the just the cost of going to England and the fact that you need a visa to go and appear before
Mm-hmm.
persons who actually have asked us to move and change our final court out
Mm-hmm.
of England, but we are still going there for them to opine on matters.
Mm-hmm.
Is really incongruent with true independence.
Mm-hmm.
Incongruent. And so, inside of that as well, I think we need to look at how our parliament is set up. I do believe that we need to look at even, I'm not sure it would be a constitutional or just a law matter, but looking even at fixed election dates, looking at fixed term limits. We need to reopen those conversations in a way
Yes.
that would help us to become a better democracy and to help us to have better discourse in our country around policy and moving our country forward.
Like how we're on constitutional reform. What is your take? What is the People's National Party take on a ceremonial president or president is being elected?
I believe that we are willing to start with a ceremonial president, right? Because several changes have occurred to the role of the Governor General, giving the role of the Governor General already more powers. With some additional powers in that context, I
Mm-hmm.
believe that we would be willing to look at a ceremonial president um, elected by the members of the House in separate chambers,
Mm-hmm.
not all together in one chamber. I believe it is that our position is as a first step, and then now to explore what would it look like to have an elected president, and then what should the distinction be there. But I don't think we have to get the perfection to be able to move away from the king. I think the
Mm-hmm.
time has come for us to move away from the king, but we can't move away from the king and keep a piece of the king in the context of the Privy Council.
And in the same time, moving away from the king, I think they should educate the Jamaican people some more on the Constitution and what they're doing.
I believe that we are not doing nearly enough with the engagement of people around the Constitution. In the opposition leader's budget presentation, he did speak specifically to this level of social transformation required, and therefore what is required inside of education to support that. Specifically in the context of civics, we do have a civics curriculum now, but it doesn't
Yes.
go deep enough into how our country operates and the role of each citizen in that and the responsibility of each citizen in that. So they don't
Mm-hmm.
have a good understanding of how they can impact government, how they can impact policy, how they can participate. It is just too high level and just prescriptive. This is how government is set up. right? So I think it needs more than what is there now.
Yeah.
And the opposition leader spoke to that in his budget speech.
Now let's go back to what we came here to talk about, because
Well,
if
yes, although the budget speech was really fantastic, I must tell you,
yes,
has a lot of goodies in there, and specifically in the area of social transformation, which is
yes,
where I am spokesperson. And
hmm
I am so very excited and so very proud of our party and what our leader has presented as our policy direction. Because when we speak about the change that must come, we are clear that it is the human capital development that's going to cause us to have the growth, to move from a low growth, low tech, low wage economy into a high growth economy driven by technology and agriculture, and incorporating our culture in such a way that we get a richer tourism product and a richer cultural product using music, etc., to propel our economic earning.
somebody sent me something here a while ago,
Mhm.
and maybe you can give a little history in this. Norman Manley made his son Speaker of the House, Michael Manley, and Michael Manley make his brother Douglas Speaker of the House. Is that true?
Yes, but a brother is very different from a husband and wife. A
Right.
brother is able to give evidence in court against his brother. A sister can give evidence against a brother. A wife or a husband can't give evidence against each other. But that relationship is deemed to be deeper and closer. And the other thing is that in this particular case as well, it is the speaker and the prime minister who are married.
Do you think that when Mrs. Dalrymple was Speaker and when she resigned, at that time Juliet Holness was Deputy Speaker?
Yes.
Yes. So when Mrs. Dalrymple was told to step down and she stepped down, do you think that Mrs. Holness should just accuse herself and just remain Deputy Speaker?
I believe if I were in that position, I would, because the conflict would be apparent to me, that I would not choose to sit as speaker with my husband as a prime minister. But that is her choice, and she made a different choice. But the conflict arises, and she now, along with the prime minister, who is her husband, must now consider the impact of that. If they didn't consider it before, if it was not clear to them before, it is now made clear to them. And when you learn information, you must act on that information. So they must consider that information now in the way they move forward.
Is the People's National Party calling Mrs. Holness to step aside?
No, we are very clear that we are not calling for her to step aside, because the Speaker of the House is appointed by the government side. What we are saying to the government is, look at what you have created with this conflict of interest. And you now, having heard that the conflict exists, must choose what action you need to take. Your action will indicate to the Jamaican people what your perspective is on conflict of interest, and your perspective is on accountability and transparency in government, and how it is that you treat with governance.
Now let's listen to what Mr. Golden had us to say outside the Parliament yesterday, because he wasn't allowed to finish his presentation in the Parliament. This is what he said.
I don't have a microphone, but I'd like to finish my speech. I'm very near the end. So I hope somebody will film this, and I hope that you'll be able to hear what I say. Yes. Hold on, 1 second. Your media?
Yes, from the Gleaner.
He's from the Gleaner.
Oh, Gleaner. All right.
Can you hear me though?
Yes, I am.
The point I was making when the Prime Minister chose to walk out and was left the Parliament without a quorum. I think it's the first time this has ever happened in independent Jamaica. That in a budget speech, the opposition has been denied the opportunity to finish their presentation. And here I am assembled on Duke Street I was near the end anyway, but there were some important points that needed to be made. And I'm going to continue. The point I made when they walked out was this. When the former speaker was forced to resign as a result of an Integrity Commission investigation, the move to replace her with the wife of the Prime Minister, so that the head of Parliament is now the spouse of the head of government, does not sit well with the tradition that the speaker must act independently of the government of the day. That is a fundamental principle of the Westminster system of democracy. And it is protected in a number of ways. For example, in the United Kingdom, nobody runs against the speaker in an election. They make sure the speaker is elected because that person is supposed to be independent. So that, I think, that move to do what happened in our case here was inconsistent with that level of independence that's required. The failure to disclose the identity of the so-called illicit 6 MPs who are under investigation by the Integrity Commission for illicit enrichment remains a festering sore, only made worse by the Prime Minister's gag order on his own cabinet ministers from speaking publicly on matters to do with the Integrity Commission. The Prime Minister's statutory declarations of assets and liabilities and income have not been certified and published by the Integrity Commission for successive years. It is untenable for the head of government of Jamaica not to be in good standing with the country's Integrity Commission for a prolonged period. All I can say to him, and I would have said it to him if we were still in the House, all I can say, if I were in your position, I would take with myself and hand over to someone else who is not compromised.
Recordings just got better. Hey, it's Dana from StreamYard. I'm so excited to announce that local
Jamaica's iconic global track superstar, the Honorable Usain Bolt, and many other innocent investors were carried down in the scandalous SSL fiasco. And we can't hear anything about charges being brought against the culprits. I have been told that the DPP's office is dragging their feet when there are a number of people that the Financial Investigations Division are seeking to bring charges against. In fact, in August last year, the Gleaner carried a report that from the FID that there were several persons that they were intending to move against with charges. That report is no longer on the Gleaner website, but I'm told that the DPP's office is dragging their feet on this. The Kroll forensic report, which has cost taxpayers millions of dollars, was delivered to the government months ago. It must be released to the public so we can see what the findings are. Jamaica will not accept a cover-up of this shameful debacle, which has tainted our country's reputation as a safe and well-regulated place for Jamaicans at home and abroad to save and invest. In fact, a commission of inquiry into this SSL scandal will be needed. Jamaica is crying out for change in this area. This is why I have identified an entire cluster of portfolios within our own governance structure to address the now desperate area of transparent and accountable governance. We must translate good governance principles into tangible action that restores trust and confidence in our leaders and preserves our cherished freedoms and democratic way of life. Change means no more hiding of the truth from Jamaicans. Change means no more deception in official public communication. Change means putting transparency and communication at the heart of good governance. It affirms that respect is due to those who elect governments and pay taxes. That's why we will implement a comprehensive strategy centered around engagement and accessibility. Our aim is to ensure that every voice is heard, to bridge the gap between leadership and the people. This means holding town hall meetings, physical and virtual, to give every citizen a voice in the decision-making process. It means conducting community walks, listening to the concerns of our constituents, and working together to find solutions. It means providing regular progress reports on projects and programs, and keeping the public informed and involved every step of the way. Change means practicing accountability as a central principle of good governance. That's why, after the terrible incident of the woman being beaten in public with a stool, I tabled an impeachment bill in the House of Representatives in 2021 to provide a mechanism to hold to account any parliamentarian whose egregious conduct brings his or her office into disrepute. Despite this having been a manifesto promise of this JLP government from the 2016 general elections, my impeachment bill has not been allowed to go forward to a joint select committee for wide stakeholder consultation and then be passed into law. They don't believe in accountability. When I entered the political arena, there were some entrenched ways of doing things. Making change happen requires a fresh approach. Things will be very different under my watch because I will tolerate none of it. The last PNP administration put local government in the Constitution. We passed the 3 strategic laws to modernize the legal framework of local government in keeping with modern best practices. One of those laws, the Local Governance Act, makes provision in Section 18 for the recall of an elected mayor, and it may be initiated by a petition alleging a charge of gross misconduct or dereliction of duty, and it has to be signed by at least 25% of the registered voters in the city municipality. The next PNP government will institute a fair and balanced recall system for elected officials, both at the local government and parliamentary level, to deepen accountability and empower the voters with recourse where they are badly let down by whoever they elect to parliament. Change means not taking away the rights of the people of Portmore without proper consultations with them, followed by a referendum to let them make the decision whether or not they want to give up their city municipality status and their right to directly elect their mayor, a right given to them by the People's National Party. Jamaica has spoken, and the PNP has listened to the concerns of the people. We are offering solutions based on thorough research and consultation with our stakeholders. We will embark on this journey together with the people towards a future where opportunity for advancement is not a privilege, but a right for all. We commit to good governance for the people of Jamaica, not as some abstract concept, but as a living promise fulfilled to every citizen of our nation. We are on a fast track on the road to change, and we invite all Jamaicans along this exciting journey in a spirit of hope for a better and brighter future for all our people. And I would have ended, thank you, Madam Speaker, but I won't end that way because I'm not in the Parliament. I'm on Duke Street with
My. Whether we want to believe this, yes or no, that's the voice of Michael Norman Joshua Manley.
Okay.
Speaking to the people of this country.
And I would say to you, that voice, Mark Jefferson Golding, will be our next Prime Minister and is a man in whom I am well pleased because he is clear that we are going to put our people first, have an accountable government, invest in our people so that we can have true prosperity in Jamaica. And that prosperity for a few, but for everybody. As he says, trickle-down economics does not work and will not work. We must invest in the base of our people. We must set them up to win so that they can have a good life.
You know, Mrs. Duncan Sutherland, the budget, the $1.3 trillion budget that was presented to the people of this country by the Minister of Finance. It doesn't speak about a couple $1 million. Let me find the thing here. I have it right here with me.
Okay.
The budget speaks out of that 1.3 trillion, and I'm not drifting from what you came here to speak about, but I have to put this in it and have your opinion on it, please.
Okay.
The budget, 1.3 trillion. Out of that 1.3 trillion dollars, it is, you have $882 million to build a police divisional headquarters in Westmoreland. Then you have $2.6 billion to buy 100 new buses for JUTC. And JUTC has not made a profit, is not making any profit. Why I go down this road, Mrs. Duncan Price? Mrs. Duncan Sutherland, rather. I'm calling your sister's name now.
That's okay. It's a good lady too.
Yes, why I go down this road is
yes.
Jamaica has a water problem.
Mm-hmm.
Our people has a water problem. And you don't see nothing in the budget to help the Jamaican people for water. If the People's National Party should gain state power whenever they call the election, do you have any idea, ma'am, what is put in place by the People's National Party, whether in their manifesto to come or what, to assist the people of Jamaica for water? When last have we built a water reservoir in this country? The people of St. Elizabeth, people of St. Elizabeth, where the Breadbasket Parish, has no water from Wapikil Philip, and every year they talk about it.
Well, I would say to you that the PNP is in full agreement, and we are very clear that water is a critical part of whatever infrastructure work and infrastructure budget that we have. It is one of the areas that we know that we need to do better in Jamaica, and in our shadow cabinet discussions has featured big in terms of how it is that we are going to address that situation. But you speak to the water and you speak to different elements of the capital budget. Part of it for me as well is that in the capital budget, only 1.94 billion is set aside for improving our schools. 1.94 billion. That's it for education. We have 700 primary schools and only 170 high schools. Some of our students are still in classrooms that have blackboards in between them. Most schools don't have adequate toilets. Very few schools have any kind of solar. And so our children go to school in heat. If we could put in solar systems in all our schools and air conditioning, our children would be more comfortable. We are not treating our children with respect. And we want them to come up and treat our country with respect. So there's a lot to change in the way that we use the fiscal space that was created first by Peter Phillips and Portia Simpson Miller as Prime Minister. When and Mark Jefferson Golding in rewriting those laws, when we created the fiscal framework to allow us to come out of the hole that was created between 2007 and 11, when we could not reorient our economic structures. And we did it, and we created a framework for fiscal responsibility, and that we did it with the intention to free up the fiscal space to be able to make it work for people. Portia Simpson Miller used their political capital to say, trust us. We are going to fix the economy so that we have the space to work with you, so that we are not always looking over our shoulder and not able to pay our debt and meet our obligations. And the people trusted her, and we did it. Portia Simpson Miller, Peter David Phillips, and Mark Golding supporting on the lawn. And then the election came. There was a change of government. They have the fiscal space, but instead of creating an environment where Jamaicans can truly transform themselves, they have used that space in such a way that few people benefit. And we have a low growth, low wage, and low tech economy as a result of the last 8 years of the JLP government.
Well, because the presentation that Mr. Golding put in the Parliament in his budget debate, and what the Minister of Finance said, I am very concerned about this budget. And why I'm concerned about it?
And as he pointed out, that 20,000 reverse tax.
Yes.
The way that he has designed it, it really doesn't appear to make sense. And it could be used better to just raise the tax threshold to the 2 million, not quite 3 million that we recommend, but raise it to 2 million, and a wider group of people would benefit. Because the way that he has designed it, it will not encourage additional persons to pay taxes. Because to get access, you have to pay up all your back taxes. So it is not, there's no amnesty involved. There is no way that they are engaging people. They're not working on how to transform behavior. Government badness is the order of their day.
Yes. Then, when you look on the budget itself, they speak about a 1.5 to 1.7 threshold for income tax. Am I correct?
Well, that's what I was talking about. That we are suggesting that that threshold should be moved to $2 million instead of 1.7, and abandon the 20,000 reverse tax credit.
But
Because,
Mrs. Duncan Price, how many Jamaicans are working that amount of money, ma'am?
well, it's a small amount, but at least those people we know would be sure to get it. Those who would have been getting the reverse tax credit of the 20,000. That's right. So that benefit is only for a very small part of Jamaica. At the same time, then they are looking at in the agricultural sector to remove the GCT off of imports. That is going to have a major impact on our farmers, because then they will be able to dump stuff into Jamaica. And so therefore the other day when they issued some licenses to import onions, many farmers had to dump acres of onions because they couldn't sell it, because the price that it was coming out was just much too low. I mean,
But does that make any sense for you to give people license to bring in ground provisions and all those things, when Jamaicans in St. Elizabeth and other parts of the country are having problems selling their produce?
I don't think so. I don't believe that they've thought it through effectively. And I'm not sure who they're, because JAS, Jamaica Agricultural Society, said they were not consulted at all when this policy was put forward by the Minister of Finance. So it's not a government that believes in consultation. It's not only with a few, not with the wider country and the wider population that would be impacted by their decisions. Which is why Mark makes a really big point at the end that a PNP government and even a PNP opposition, we are committed to going on the ground and engaging through town hall meetings and encouraging people to participate in the decision-making process by giving them information so that they will feel empowered to make different suggestions if they have them, or give the feedback of the impact of a decision.
Do you have any idea if the opposition will be given the privilege to continue its budget presentation?
I have no idea. That again is up to the Speaker of the House, actually, and the leader of government business. So I am not sure what their plan is for tomorrow when the House reconvenes.
You know, this has put a bad taste in the mouth of many Jamaicans.
Yes, it has.
And younger Jamaicans who are coming up who are thinking about entering politics. It doesn't look good. What does the People's National Party have in place to assist the younger set of Jamaicans who wants to maybe go into farming or just to uplift them? What's the plan for the People's National Party for young Jamaicans?
Well, if you also again went to the budget presentation, both by Julian and Robinson as spokesperson of finance, and by the party leader, there is a section on how we want to transform the overall economy. So critical to that is, one, how it is that in the context of young people, how it is that we introduce technology and more value-added kinds of jobs or opportunities within the economy. So how we train and how we develop those training institutions with respect to STEAM training and adding value in the context of low code, those areas. So we think that we need to put more emphasis there so that more persons can participate, especially as we evolve in a space of AI, etc. Specifically to the youth that are at risk, right? The party leaders spoke to the expansion of the STAR program, social transformation and reform. That program that is actually led by my brother, Pete Duncan.
Okay, Duncan, yes.
Yes, through his private sector role, started as CSOJ
I think Mr. Duncan came to Miami and met with Council General Oliver Mayer about the same situation, the same project that he's working on. Okay,
so
go ahead.
the party leader said that he is committed to funding that and expanding that so it becomes a national program and working with the private sector because it has an element of it where it connects the young people into jobs in the private sector and helps with the training and also with the reorientation of self so that our young people can prepare themselves to go into the work world. I mean, we take that for granted, but many people don't even know what it means to get up every day and go to work. They don't know how to create a resume. So that in connection with how we transform our education system. So it is an education for the Jamaican student, not an education for a student that should exist, but an education for the students that exist in Jamaica. The students who come with Jamaican patois as their first language. The student that comes from a household that is where poverty is such that most students are malnourished. And so therefore we need to provide food for them in the school system. The student that when they come to school, they are coming from a very angry environment. So we have to put in place things that will allow them to be able to express that anger in a healthy way and release it so that they can be in a space to learn. And that's a big part of where I would play a role in the context of social transformation and how it is that we create an environment that sets up our young people to win.
Mrs. Duncan Sutherland, we didn't come here to talk about Mark Golding alone, you know. Okay, I know I should have said it to you, but I come here to talk about other things too.
Okay.
I hope you can assist us with it.
Well, I am trying. As you say, I didn't come prepared, but I am going based on my own experience and what I know is happening now.
Right. The crime situation.
Yes.
And well, before we go on crime, I don't think, and maybe you can correct me on this if he did, I don't think the opposition leader spoke about the health sector in the sense of Montego Bay Regional Hospital.
He did very much speak to that.
$2 billion more.
Yes, significant overruns. He did speak to it. And he
did.
spoke to the fact that Dr. Morris Guy had pointed out that the estimates that were presented were woefully understated. And even the ones that Dr. Morris Guy pointed out, based on where they are already at with their overruns, is way below what was expected. I believe it's something like 21 billion versus a 12 billion. And they're planning to build 4 hospitals for that price or less. And so the truth of the matter is that the mismanagement of that situation and by Minister Christoph Dunn is really unbelievable, actually, and untenable. But it's a feature of, one must ask the question, why did it cost so much? And why didn't they stop and then just build a new hospital if it's only going to cost us $4 billion to build a brand new hospital? One must ask that question. Why are we continuing to spend on this? Right? So, and with all of that spend, we still have a healthcare system where people are going into the hospital and having to sit in a chair after being admitted, coming in through A&E, because there are just no beds available. No beds available, and under-resourced, and no medication available. No, everybody going in has to come in and pay for every test. They have to come with their money before. So poor people have very limited access to healthcare in Jamaica.
But you would think that Jamaica, Mrs. Sutherland,
Mhm.
is going to be 62 years old. Am I correct? Come August 6th. Are you 62?
It's
Or
62.
61?
Yes, it looks so.
62.
Yes.
Would you say that the two political parties have served the people of this country well in the sense of providing proper health care, proper security, proper education for the people of this country, Mrs. Sutherland?
I would say we have had some successes, but I don't think we've had enough successes. So
Mhm.
we've had some successes in the context of our expansion of access to education, right? When we got independent, I believe like we were working with 2,000 persons who were able to go to high school at that time. That's coming from in the 40s when it was one per parish, then two per parish. And then on the Norman Manday, the common interest to 2,000. And
Yes.
then we were able to move that to every child can go to high school in Jamaica. However, we have a big problem with the quality of education in Jamaica, and which is
Mhm.
where we did not work enough on that. I think we missed the boat in the context of understanding the importance of language and our first language, and then how to make English a second language. You know, when Singapore introduced English as their language of business, they made a concerted effort to teach English as a second language. Now, it was more obvious to them because they had so many different languages in
Mhm.
Singapore. It was less obvious to us because Patois has some similarities to English, but it is not English. And so
Mhm.
we were not deliberate enough around that, I believe. And in that context as well, we were not deliberate enough around where we did some things that changed the structure of inequality in our country, like the elimination of the Bastardy Act, like the Maternity Leave Act, like the equal pay for equal work for women. Um, and we did some things that, not necessarily in law, but in practice, that allowed Jamaicans to have access to their beaches, etc. Uh, and so therefore, Rex would call that period the Somalification of Jamaica,
Mhm.
right? But there still were some underlying points of inequality
Mhm.
that we did not address frontally enough that we are going to have to address in the context of the alignment of color with class and the alignment of and the shift of the economic class, the rich expansion of the rich classes, so that we could have a more equal distribution of wealth in Jamaica.
Mhm.
A lot didn't happen in that, not enough happened in that era. Things were attempted, and so now how you build out this economy. So we primarily built up on a low wage, as I said, low tech economy. And so therefore we're a low growth economy, right? So even how
Yes.
we looked at transitioning out of sugar has had a significant impact and we need to shift. And Pat Leader did speak to that in his budget debate as well, because sugar was set up where the people who worked on the sugar estate were very dependent on the estate. They got everything: housing, electricity, water, light. Then all of a
Mhm.
sudden, there was no estate and they were to survive on the same salary, doing everything that was being done for them. So we didn't
Mhm.
have enough of a transition, nor did we teach them how to really be independent and have their own farms and become their
Mhm.
own agriculture. So here they are living on these vast farmlands, but unable to take advantage of what opportunities could exist there
Mhm.
because weren't deliberate enough around it. So those are some of the things that we're going to have to do if we're going to shift the economic and social structures in Jamaica. And then we did not address the issue of violence as part of our DNA,
Mhm.
right? Now we are a very strong people, very passionate people, but we also has a lot of anger coming out of, yes, slavery and how we were treated. And we learned also that the way to cause compliance is through force. We learned that, right? And so we need to relearn now how to get compliance and how to get joy and to create those families with more love and not see love, a loving act as an act of weakness, but an act of strength. And learn how to relearn how to show and express our love for our children. Because it's not
Yeah.
learning how to love our children, but learning how to express our love in a different way.
Mm.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go because I know I only have a little hour with you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm gonna let you go. But I have to ask you 2 questions before you go.
Yes.
Do you know if the Parliament will sanction Mr. Golden tomorrow? Or, well, that's one of the questions. The other question to you. You speak about beach, Jamaicans with access to the beach. Do you know the People's National Party will free up the beaches that Jamaicans can go to the beach, in the sense of you have some beaches Jamaicans can't go there because it's owned by people of the Vumbova and the Vumbovine.
Yes. So this is definitely something that we have as an issue that needs to be addressed, beach access in Jamaica,
Yes.
because more and more of the beaches are being, quote unquote, privatized and access being restricted to Jamaicans. And so we know that this is a problem. There was a law. The law was not strong enough, I don't think, and I think it needs to be strengthened in that area. Barbados, for example, nobody can restrict access to any part of the beach.
Just like the Cayman Islands.
Yeah, or and the Cayman Islands. So we know that this is something we're going to have to look at, and to look at how we're going to transition out of this current dispensation into one that's more equitable in the context of beach access. With respect to whether they're going to sanction Mr. Golden tomorrow, I don't know, because I'm not sure what this government thinks or how they think about things. I'm hoping that good sense will prevail for them and that they will come to Parliament tomorrow. And if I were them, I would allow Mr. Golden to complete his presentation in the House and take it up from there.
I am going to say something, and this is not the views of Mrs. Duncan Sutherland. This is the views of me. I, Jeffrey Tavares. I personally believe that if he should go to the Parliament tomorrow and they start with the shibangarang, 2 ones don't make a right. But gather the Jamaican people together. Gather the Jamaican people together, Mr. Golden, and have a peaceful demonstration in front of the Parliament of Jamaica. Go to Jamaica House, go to King's House, and demand that the Speaker of the House table the 2 reports, or if not, resign. There is too much corruption going on in the country, too much nepotism, too much cronyism, and the time has come for the Jamaican people to stand up. Stop this PNP and JLP shibangarang. Jamaica is knocking behind Haiti's back door, whether we like it, yes or no. And the time has come for all of us to stand up for one thing. Stand up for Jamaica. She's bleeding from within. Mrs. Duncan said, I get off sometime now because I'm tired.
That's okay. And I am here to listen as well as to share my thoughts. And so I have heard you, Mr. Tavares. I will take your message back to the rest of the leaders in the party and let them know this is your perspective. Everybody's perspective cannot always be the perspective we choose. But one thing for sure you can count on us for is that we will listen to you.
And I hope that if you all become government, that you, the People's National Party administration, will reach out to members of the Jamaican diaspora who have experience in security, who have experience in healthcare, who have experience in education, especially security. Jamaica's crime problem, Mrs. Duncan Sutherland, is out of whack.
Yes.
We can't have a minister of national security who is saying to the diaspora, bring your money, come. But now when I come, now you can't do nothing.
Yes. I know and I understand how you feel. When we were in government between 2012 and 2016, I was working with the Ministry of National Security then and heading the Unite for Change program. And we knew that was important to engage with the diaspora. So we did have meetings in the UK with members of the diaspora. And then there was also a diaspora conference that was held at the Jamaica Conference Center, where we got the ideas and the contributions from members of the diaspora as to what else we could do and how they could be a part of the solution. Because the point of Unite for Change is pretty similar to Project STAR, pulling everybody together to work together, because social transformation doesn't take place in one piece of the society, it takes place in the whole of society.
The People's National Party had promised the members of the diaspora that they will put a bill into the Parliament of Jamaica that members of the diaspora can vote or have a senator. Nobody has done that, Mrs. Duncan Sutherland. And I think the time has come for them to do it.
Okay, well, as you say, it is definitely under discussion, and how it will occur, I am not sure, but I know that the discussions have started.
Thank you very much for coming on. I could go on and on, but I know you have to go.
Yes, man, and thank you very much. I really appreciate it. A pleasure having the conversation with you. I look forward to many more.
Thank you very much. Patricia Duncan Sutherland, President of the People's National Party Women's Movement. Thank you for coming on. Thank you so much. You know, I was hoping I could get some call in and you could ask her some questions, but she didn't plan to stay with us long. And I just want to tell her thanks for coming on. It is now 12 minutes after 9 o'clock here in the United States. It is 12 after 8 o'clock. Wherever you are watching from around the world, it's the Make We Talk program. I hope that they really do something if they should gain state power to get some assistance from the Jamaican diaspora, the real Jamaican diaspora, not the fake one, the real one. I hope that we'll really get some help from the real Jamaican diaspora. We're not going to stay long on the program tonight. We're going to take some calls. The numbers to call, of course, is 954-529-8030. We're not going to stay long on the program tonight, but you can call in. 954-529-8030. What do you think? Oh, Lord, here we go already. Hold on. Hello, good night. Welcome to the Make We Talk.
Hi, Jeffrey. How are you?
I am here looking and living, my dear.
That make two of us. That make two of us. Before Mr. Perkins died, I was talking to him. Yes, my good friend, my godfather, my motivator, everything that is good about him. But you cannot go around him.
Yes.
Anyway, one time I was talking about him and I said, there was an argument about people with PhD and PhD. And I said to him, Mr. Perkins, you know what PhD stands for? And he said, no. I said, Mr. Perkins, for me, PhD stands for permanent head damage. Mr. Jeffrey, Mr. Perkins, after me, Mr. Perkins laugh, Mr. Perkins laugh, Mr. Perkins laugh. Mr. Perkins said, no, man, we can't call the people with them good up PhD permanent head damage. I said, yes, Mr. Perkins.
So why is it that tonight?
with Paula Llewellyn,
Yes.
for me, and this is my opinion, she has a permanent head damage.
Oh, Lord.
This party political case that is the whole world know about now. The interview that he did with Cliff Hughes' program there.
Yes, nationwide.
Right. When the young man asked her, so why didn't you think about a retrial at that time? She said, after 64 days, right? Me don't, me never go to school, me no know nothing, me not like, but me just attack. She said, after 64 days, she couldn't do a retrial. But after 30 years, she want to do a retrial. You know, so she have a permanent head damage.
And based on what he was small and PJ came out and said, I mean, put on the country and Jamaica talk.
Exactly. I know of cases that people are in prison innocent. And I'm wondering, can they get a retrial now?
Well, let's wait and see.
You could do a retrial after 64 days, but after 13 days, you want to do a retrial. How stupid are you?
Well, let's look and see. What do you think about Mrs. Duncan Sutherland coming on tonight and speak to us?
I didn't hear all of it because I just came off the road and just turned on my device. So I didn't hear all of it. So I'm not going to comment on it. But Andrew Holness and Paula Llewellyn, me lose after them. Me lose after them. That's why I don't walk and put people from pedestal. Because if you walk and put people from pedestal, you can lose. Andrew and Paula Llewellyn, me lose something and I can't even. Good night, Mr. Jeffrey.
Good night, ma'am. Thank you for calling in. Hello, good night.
Hello, good night, Mr. Jeffrey. I have 3 questions. Do the parliamentarian has copy of Mr. Mark Golding's speech? And number 2, do the clerk of the court have a right to get up when the prime minister was getting up? One of them get up and walk out the back with her body language. You can see she was demonstrating too. And third, I think next step.
Hold on a minute then. The first
All right.
ask was what again?
Do the parliamentarian have a copy of Mark Golding's speech before?
Every single parliamentarian has a copy of the speaker's speech. Well, the person who presented the speech, like Mark Golding, have a copy of Mark Golding's speech. And I'm pretty much sure they saw what he was going to say in the speech.
That's why they plan to walk out. That means number 2, they plan to walk out. Number 2, the clerk of the court, the elderly lady, she was watching the prime minister. As the prime minister get up, she get up out of the chair and leave 2 sitting down and walk at the back. You can see her body language. She was demonstrating too.
Well, I can't say she was demonstrating. Maybe she was frustrated of what was going on in the parliament, or she get up and walk out. I'm not taking up for her, but maybe she was frustrated.
She's not supposed to get up off the chair.
Why not?
No, because she's not part of a parliamentarian. She have a job to do to sit.
Hold a minute, sir. Suppose she wants to go and use the restroom. What she wants? Sit down there and
No, I'm telling you what she did. She get up.
Yes, sir, but I'm asking you, sir. You said she mustn't get up. But I'm asking you, sir.
Yeah.
Not because the prime minister get up, you think that's why she got up. Suppose she got up to use the restroom.
No, I know. I'm telling you, I'm watching her body language. She's standing and put her hand on her hip and looking on the paying people them. And then she go back and sit down. She says something to somebody around there and get back and go and sit down. And the third question, I think I prefer to see them outside speaking outside. They're more disciplined outside with the people outside. That was so beautiful, Mr. Golden outside. It was so the speech. They could take them out of the house and put them outside, and they're more disciplined outside. It was so beautiful. Yes, it was so beautiful yesterday when I saw them outside.
Okay.
I see this lady, what's her name? Miss Burke. She always talking when Golden is talking. She's putting her finger at her mouth and says, everybody must quiet. That's the way they must act in the house. When Mr. Golden is speaking, they must not speak. That's disrespectful. They're all speaking.
Okay, sir.
Respect, my brother.
Thank you. Hello, good night. Welcome to the Liquid Talk program. Hello?
Hello, good night.
Good night, my friend. How are you doing?
I am not bad at all, you know. I reach home early so I catch the program. I don't catch everything, but I catch a part. Well, my suggestion.
Did you catch any part with Mrs. Duncan Sutherland speaking to us?
Yes, man. Okay. My thing with Mark, Cooler Stream, or Marky G, are the most excellent Prime Minister in waiting. Listen, you know, my message is to the member of Parliament and the Labour side.
Yes.
And I would mind if when I listen Rattigan and Mr. Bobby Fields speak and you know, yeah. Listen, you know. The Integrity Commission submit a letter or paper say Ms. Dalrymple get terminated when do or whatever. I mean, I'm going along. And that paper with Ms. Dalrymple being exposed. So Ms. Dalrymple have left. Right? Come out in public domain and everywhere. Listen, you know, with my little knowledge, I mean, I know permanent head damage. I can't relate.
Yes.
But my inner feeling tell me say they sacrifice Miss Dalrymple.
For do what?
Sacrifice Dalrymple to put Juliet Holness up there. That's the recipe for them.
Hold on for me, caller. Hold on for me. Are those on YouTube? Are you hearing me through the mic now? But they said they're not hearing me. My YouTube.
I hear you. It's supposed to hear you now.
You're supposed to be hearing me now. Go ahead.
Yes. Them sacrifice Miss Dalrymple to squeeze him out, to put Juliet there because all of it, when the pressure come down on them for the IC, and feel say Miss Dalrymple can't bear pressure, so she have a boss. But they move Miss Dalrymple, yes, they move Miss Dalrymple now to put Juliet there to press the paper them that will not, that they not come out. Because as can to them, probably Dalrymple can't take the pressure. And they sacrifice him, put out feel disgrace in a public place, and then get rid of him to put she up there. That's the integrity paper not come out. Because she a tough officer, she can hold everything and she a gangster everything. But my message to the member of Parliament on the Labour side, when you're at your own, ask yourself, who next will Andrew Holness and his wife sacrifice to cover up themselves? Ask yourself, in the power, ask yourself, if loyalty to Andrew Holness and Juliet Holness is more better than your family and your career. Ask yourself who next. Because, you know, Andrew and his wife will do anything, anytime to anyone not to hear your sentence to 120 years in prison. They will sacrifice any one of them. So I'm sending the message to all of the members of Parliament then, who are loyal, not to the country, but to Andrew Holness and the Labour Party. Ask yourself the question, look at your children. Some of you are young people, look at your parents. Look at your whatever. Look at your character. Look where you're coming from. Is it worth it? Ask yourself the question. Dalrymple, Miss Dalrymple, is a career politician.
Yes.
Regardless of what comes out, she do and what she not do. She was a highly regarded person for years. All when the Labour Party was in shambles, she was there. And them sacrifice her.
Yes.
Same like how Juliet Holness hold down the integrity something for themselves, them could have hold down for her too. But they never do it because they want to get her.
Hold on there, my caller. Hold on there. Our next call coming, but listen to me. I don't think they should have done anything, you know, because Miss Dalrymple committed a crime.
Yes, I agree. But them also committing crimes with an S, which is more detrimental to the country and the country's future. Yes, Miss Dalrymple commit a crime. Yes, we agree. In the car business and whatever concession and whatever you get it. But it is nowhere devastating like when the Prime Minister of Jamaica is doing now to the country. All crime is crime, yes. But for the two of them, as Marky G said, husband and the leader of the country and wife and the leader of the parliament. No, mighty God.
Yes.
You know, tell me, say, nothing now pass. The field is set.
Yes.
No matter you can bat.
Yes. We have an
Swine card. This is my message to all the members of parliament, councillors, and affiliates with the Holnesses. When you look up, run for the picnic shake, run, ask myself who will be next. And my friend, and that is what I have to say.
Thank you very much.
So, big up yourself. Yes, sir.
Thanks so much for calling. Thank you. Welcome to the Make Talk program. Can you turn off your device in the background, please, sir?
Yes, the TV is off.
I can hardly hear you, sir. You're muffled. Can you speak up in the phone for me?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Jeffrey.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, I just called to I just have something to share with you because yesterday with opposition leader went outside the parliament to finish his presentation. I think that's gonna go down in history.
Yes, sir.
See, for the next 100 years, children will be reading about it. It's gonna be a moment just like with Michael Manley. Remember when Michael Manley made the speech when he said, "We will not go through this world kneeling on our knees."
We will not crawl on our knees. We'll walk on our feet.
Knees, our feet, right? And until to the day, that's something that all of us know. That's the same thing gonna happen, right? What Andrew Holness is doing, he making Mark Golden look like a revolutionist. Because if you are in parliament and to get to your statement to the people, you have to come outside, right? To give your presentation. That's something that a revolutionist do. So
let me say something to you, sir. Let me say something to you. What happened in the parliament yesterday, where the Prime Minister of Jamaica, the chief servant of the people of this country, along with his deputies and lieutenants and all sorts of shebangarang. What happened in the parliament yesterday has never happened in the history of Jamaica. Where an opposition leader, where opposition leader is giving his presentation, and because of what was said in the presentation, the Prime Minister of Jamaica get up and walk out. Mr. Holness, you get up and walk out on the Jamaican people, sorry. You didn't walk out on Mr. Golden and the PNP. You walk out on the Jamaican people, Mr. Holness.
And that's very embarrassing. Very, very embarrassing. And the reason why it's embarrassing, the thing is that you're talking about democracy, right? And for any functioning democracy, you need a very vibrant opposition.
Is Jamaica democracy?
That's what makes but Jamaican have their own democracy, eh? That's Jamaican form of democracy, right? Because the thing is that with the Prime Minister.
Hold on for me. Let me make something clear on this platform. And this is why we Jamaicans need to educate ourselves. Go and consult your constitution. Yes, people walk out of the parliament before. What we are saying, they have never walked out on a budget debate. And we must consult, hold on for me, sir. We must consult our constitution and stop coming on platforms and taking up on a party and we don't know the constitution. Consult the constitution.
But you're absolutely right, because what happened when Andrew walked out, right? He walked out on the Jamaican people.
Thank you.
Because remember, we paying him, right? We are paying him. So when he walked out, he doesn't walk out on Mark Golden, right? He walked out on the Jamaican people. So you talk about crime and violence at Jamaica, right? So if you talk about crime and violence at Jamaica, right, and you have the Prime Minister and national TV behaving like that, what do you expect the young children supposed to do? Because the Prime Minister, he's supposed to set an example.
Yes, sir. Very good.
He's supposed to set an example. So if he get up, turn his back, walk right out. So think about, I sit down watching the television, watching the budget debate with my 12-year-old daughter. She see the Prime Minister just get up and walk out. What do you think that she think? So when you look on the way the Prime Minister conduct itself, it's very shameful. And what I'm saying, it make Mark, Mr. Gordon, look like a hero. Because think about that, he have to come out and go outside to talk to the Jamaican people.
Because there wasn't enough people in the parliament to let the parliament go on, sir.
Exactly, because that's something that the Prime Minister planned. Because the Prime Minister know that they only have 14 people in Parliament. They need 16. So if he get up and walk away, then what happened now? They got to close it down.
Yes, thank you, sir.
So he have no, but what he never knew that Mark would have go outside and finish his speech.
Yes, sir. True.
And get the word out to the people. So what happened now? It backfired on him.
Yes, thank you, sir, for calling.
So yeah, okay, man. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Okay.
Pleasant good night. Welcome to the Make a Talk program.
Hi, good night.
Good night.
How are you?
I am here looking and living and thinking about what is going on. Are we leaving a Jamaica for our children, or are we leaving a failed state?
Are you surprised?
Not really.
Do you suppose that this kind of behavior?
Based on what is going on in the country, ma'am, and the Jamaican people refuse to consult their constitution, refuse to see what is going on. All I can see is green and orange.
Mr. Tavares.
Hold on for me, please. Hold on for me. Miss Thomas, Miss Jacqueline Thomas on my chat here. How can Mr. Golden stay in the panel and finish his speech? when the Speaker of the House, were you listening to the Parliament yesterday? When the Speaker of the House clearly stated it have to have, is it 16 or 17 people in the Parliament for the House to continue? Go ahead for me, call.
Yeah, you have to understand that some of these people that are voicing their opinion, they just talk because they have the opportunity to come on a platform to talk all kind of garbage. They don't listen. And some of them listen, but they're not understanding. You understand? So they can just talk whatever they feel like talk. No, Mr. Tavares.
Yes, ma'am.
He sat wherever he is all along, right?
Who?
Mr. Tavares, Sam Tavares, the one that come out and talk about Margolin behavior. He did not attack Ms. Holness. He did not attack her, you know. He's talking about her job. She has not done what she's supposed to do, right?
So
isn't she the opposition that's supposed to be looking out for the people?
Hello. What are you saying, ma'am? I cannot speak to something that I did not hear. So you're saying that Mr. Tavares, when he came out and said what?
I thought you listened to Mr. Tavares' speech. You haven't heard of Mr. Tavares when he come out and said, Margolin. Sorry?
I did not hear the speech at all, ma'am.
Okay. We need to go. Well, Mr. Tavares come out and speak to that Mr. Golin attacked it, Mark Golin attack Miss Holiness.
Yes.
And that's not it.
Okay.
Mr. Tavares, he never comes out and asks at no time at all what happened to the 60th. He never come out and said to the Prime Minister that he's not running the country in the manner that the country ought to be run. He never comes out and speak about the corruption that is going on in the country, right? With all the politicians in the House of Parliament, the heap of corruption that is going on left, right, and center. He has never yet come out and speak out about it. But the moment that Mr. Margolin open his mouth and speak, everybody want to jump down in throat. You see the hypocrisy? The other side, everybody else make up one shebang. They're behaving like, you know, I don't even know if you describe their behavior. How can the leader of the country behave in that manner and people are backing him? Eh? Are these people for real? Do they take everybody for idiots? Yeah, Mr. Andrew Holness, come out and call them fully done. So you think it's everybody's done? They need to get their act together. Margolin, don't stop going there tomorrow. Margolin needs not to go there tomorrow. Let them one sit down in there because they're behaving as if they're the one that rolled thunder. Their behavior is so indescribable, man. These politicians need to get their act together. It's full time. And then you have these stupid people who I can't understand for the love of God why some of the Jamaican people who claim that they're die-hearted, not getting the big picture. Why do they have no moral standard? When are they going to wake up?
That's a very good question, man.
These people are sick, they're sick. The whole of the politicians, them down there, Babsy Grange, the whole of them on the JLP side, and the PSOJ as well too. They all click together and raping the country left, right, and center. And these jackass people, them sit on none of the top. Golding this and Mark Golding that. They don't think it's high time for them to get their act together. What's wrong with these politicians? Eh? Look how many they rate the country. Look how many taxpayer money them take. Them not think so full time for them give back to the country. Put the country in a proper standing. What kind of example are they setting for our youth? These people who are dieted, what legacy are they leaving for our children and grandchildren? Our ancestors bled and died so that we could be here in this position today. And look what they're doing to it. Eh? They want to go back under the colonial master regime. Yeah? Because Andrew owners are totally sold out for the colonial master. You understand? We have to do their bidding at any cost. And these people are not getting it. This is another talk about them a dieted PMP and dieted labor, right? Really? You know who I'm sorry for? The youth them. The youth are my concern. The youth.
They sorry for themselves, man.
Sorry?
Are the youth sorry for themselves?
But if you give them the gun, the youth them a fire the trigger, but who give them the gun? Who set the example for them? Who laid the foundation for the youth?
The two political parties have gangs that they deal with in the man.
Listen to me. You're not telling me what I don't know, you know.
Okay.
You're not telling me what I don't know. Because I take my 2 eye and see enough of the politician them hand gun to the youth them down there. That's the reason why I never vote for any of them, because I take my 2 eye and see the corruption on both sides. I'm sick and tired of these people, man. I'm sick and tired of them, man. We need some well-thinking Jamaican people to start to get radical on these people, man. Yeah.
You know something, my caller. I sit here sometimes and I ask myself the question: are the Jamaican people ready for a change? Or they prefer staying the same thing over and over?
Honestly, I don't understand the mind. The mind is so shackled. When will they break the shackles from their mind? Their mind is in chain. They need to wake up, man. Come on. Nanny was a woman that lead a few people.
You know something, that I realize? I think the people, majority of the people in our country, are the youngest of the people. They're all about this chopping business, scamming. So they don't give a flying kahuna of what is going on in the country, man.
Wait. You ever hear the sentence?
Hello?
Yeah.
What are you saying?
Young but no know when rain set. Yeah? They don't know when rain set. Listen to my man. It's if them now wake up. Eh? It's if the Jamaican people now wake up. Again, never say, dog, I got yam then supper.
Indeed.
They need to wake up. They need to put the politics aside and understand, say we have fight for what is right.
I don't
for
think
a better Jamaica.
I don't think majority of the Jamaican people believe in fighting for our country, ma'am. They believe in fighting for their party because their party come first, not their country. One lady, one lady tell me, well, one lady, a gentleman told me today, a voice note he sent to me, that his DNA is the Labour Party, and his DNA is the Labour Party, and his DNA is Andrew Holness. His DNA is Jamaica.
You see, you can't deal with kind of dumb smart people, man. They're so ignorant that you have to stay with them because they're not thinking.
Wow.
And yeah, man, it's sad, it's sad, it's sad, it's sad.
Very sad day. We have some dark days in the history of this country, ma'am.
Listen, the opposition leader, I would stand down and don't go into that because Andrew only supposed to come out and apologize to the people for his behavior.
Apologize for what? He didn't apologize. He don't think he did anything wrong.
Exactly. How can a leader, you're a leader, and I'm saying that is human, you know, and yeah, I can understand that things will get to you. But come on now. You know, you're on international TV, and that's the kind of behavior you're displaying.
You know something to call. A lot of Jamaicans don't realize what happened in the Parliament yesterday, because they come and it's about the Labour Party, the PNP walkout too. That's not it. When you are presenting a $1.3 trillion budget for the financial year 2024 to 2025, you are presenting to the people of Jamaica and to the wider world that our budget debate is ready to go, where our financial apparatus is ready to go. We're speaking about the finances of the country. And when you have our opposition leader giving his presentation, and you have the Prime Minister of the country get up and walk out, the man walk out on the people of Jamaica, not on Mark Golding.
But that is exactly what I'm talking about.
He walked off the job. So in other words, if it was some other place, all right, so I'm working somewhere and I walk off the job. Tomorrow morning I don't have a job.
Exactly. Exactly.
The Prime Minister of Jamaica disrespected the Jamaican people by walking off the job.
He should not have been there, no. The Jamaican people should come out and boycott it this morning and say that we need to resign.
They're not gonna do that, ma'am. The Jamaican people are not gonna do that. They love their party.
They love the bangarang, man. You know, see, all them like to hear the custards and talk about people business and
because it is not on this platform, the label me ask out a name, ma'am.
Look here. So no know the use of them tail until they lose it, you know. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Make them go on.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling in. Thank you so much. We're living some serious times in this country. We're living some serious times in this country. Some serious times in this country. And I'm very, very concerned about my country. I'm very concerned about my people. I'm very concerned about my country. I have some friends who will say to me, "Man, I'm concerned about themselves, Jeffrey, because they don't concern about you." But when you look at where this country is heading, you have to be very concerned. You have to be very concerned to see where this country is going. And you have to ask yourself, is this the country that our foreparents fought for? Is this the country that our foreparents fought for? The level of respect in this country towards the Jamaican people is not there. The Prime Minister of Jamaica has no respect and no regard for the people of this country. And if we can't tell a person straight to their face, then I think something is wrong with us. This has never happened in the history of Jamaica before. This has never happened in the history of Jamaica, where you're given a presentation in the parliament, a budget debate. For those who don't understand the meaning of budget, go look it up. For those who don't understand the meaning of budget debate, go and look it up. And for a prime minister to get up in a presentation given by the duly elected opposition leader. He wasn't appointed. He was elected by the people of his constituency as a member of parliament. He was appointed as opposition leader sworn in by the Governor General of Jamaica. And for the Prime Minister to get up and walk out with the presentation when the presentation is in high gear, then something is wrong. Something is wrong. It's a dark day in the history of Jamaica with Paula Luluin, the DPP, and it's a more dark day in the history of this country when a prime minister can get up and walk out. A dark, dark day. Some dark days ahead. Good night. Welcome to the Make We Talk program.
Good night again, Jeffrey.
Go ahead, man. Go ahead.
You know, what I listen for? Me hear after Mr. Andrew is doing yesterday at Parliament. Me not seen a press release with the PSOJ. Me not hear Mr. Patricia call out and say something that me not hear nobody from the PSOJ. What is going on? But if Mark Golden cough, then say he shouldn't cough, he should sneeze. If he sneeze, then say he should fart. If he fart, then say he should poop. So what is happening with where is the PSOJ? Patricia and your minion. Where are you? Did you not see what happening? Did you not see what Mr. Holness don't come out walk out in a national whatever debate?
Budget debate.
Is this your budget debate? Come on, Patricia. But let me tell you something. You could have joined Lodge, you could have joined Baphomet, no matter where you join. When mother hurt, I turn up. He might turn up on you. You ramp with the sun, the air, the moon, the star. You ramp with them. You ramp with the supreme being God. Because the blood is on your shoulder. Look what happened in the Jamaica Parliament and the private sector of Jamaica. You don't say A, B, nor C.
And the church,
all of them.
And the churches of this country.
The West of my church.
Them is
the wickedest, cruelest, worse a hypocrite. There is no adjective to describe you. You are no wicked. No. You believe if I'm Mark Golden into that? Jamaica would have gone. Bad to bad, Cliff Hughes speaking truth. Bad to bad, Cliff Hughes speaking truth. And Cliff Hughes, watch yourself. If you be liar like you attack it, them are going to turn this lie against you. Watch it. Andrew Holness led government is not a government, it's a mafia gang. You know go watch Godfather Mafia, no brother? All I want to watch a show, they go watch it. I want to watch it, dissect it, and look for that to see what happen. All the man right and dead.
I'm being told that Mr. Mitsisia, whatever his name is, from the private organization, came on a talk show and must condemn what the Prime Minister did. I'm not sure. I've never heard it. I just see someone in the chat write it. I've never heard it.
Me no hear it, because if him come out with a European news, would have a blogger a catchy and say this is what he say. So I must say it in a lock up door. Come out publicly like when you come out now, we're not calling on the opposition to retract. And what is wrong, the opposition should have that, and the opposition do this, and the opposition do that, but we know say we all know.
But you know something? It is a 50-50 chance tomorrow that the leader of government business in the parliament is going to ask the opposition leader to retract what he said, you know.
Retract what?
Mark my word.
Well, yeah, I will say to Mr. Mark Golden, Mr. Mark Golden, if you are listening here, somebody will tell you, do not be like an eagle. Stay high. Go to the parliament tomorrow. We not play tit for tat. When them go low, we keep high. Eagle and them dead meat. Go to the parliament for the people. Represent for the people and oppose what him say. Let him eat in one filth. Don't boycott no parliament. Are you not going low like him? Stay high like an eagle. Go to the parliament, and if you come to the retract, he's a well-learned man. So find some nice, intelligent word to tell him. Because like me don't know them big word. They never tell him as me know which part him to go do. But you not going to do that. I don't want you to do that. But you just find some nice word. Like KD Nightingale, Bruce Golden, you are pathologically mendacious. You should pack your bags and go. So find something similar to that if you ever come tell about retract. You not retract nothing. Call a spade. Time come. Time come. The Jamaican people want to feel free. We want to have our parliament like how it used to be. Siaga was a curl, you know. I mean, can't see thing in a parliament go play when Mr. Manley attack. So, we know, say, I don't know, the Labour Party no good for people. And Mr. Patricia, shame on you. And the whole on the PSOJ, shame on you. Shame on you. We don't hear him come out publicly and condemn the Prime Minister because the whole on is in a one click. But I can tell you this. We go and erupt like a volcano. And plenty of them are going to run dead and dead are going to say depart from me, I know you not. And it's going to have to pick me down the line. Because the Bible says it is easier for a camel to go through the eye of an eagle than a rich man to enter into the kingdom of God. You know, go corruption, nothing about to no good. Nothing. I remember say, 1 day, 1 minute, 1 second, you know, I go dead. So all I want to creep and a creeper, you know, I go dead lefty. Bush Stewart was a good man. You might have really cool whatever. But 2 years in Jamaica, Bush Stewart. But 2 years in Jamaican people, and all poor people can testify to him for them. Where is he now? Who in bed? Who are in business? Right? Who in a house and when they left, who are going dead?
6'6".
And history all right, more to know. Oh.
Thank you.
Anyway.
Before you go, let me ask
Yeah, man.
Before you go, let me ask you a question. You think the Prime Minister in his speech tomorrow is going to say he allocated $1.8 billion for Silicon Valley?
No, he's going to say, I allocate $7.9 trillion in US to make Silicon Valley. So those of you who have business places and have land can give us, we will pay you for it. And all of you that doing business, get your business registered because business is going to boom in Clarkstown. And it look bad for you to live there and don't get a piece of the pie. We are not make nobody from stranger come. So those of you who are doing business, boost up your business, paint up your building, do what you have to do. Be prepared. We are coming. And all of those kids, they learn the technician and whatever. We're going to have Silicon Valley technical up. So be prepared. Be prepared. And for those in authorized market, do not buy too much load because we're going to refurbish the market so we don't have so much place to store them. So you do that. Right. And for those kids, the STEM school, I will be broken ground for the STEM school. I am strategically, we can't afford to put it in the 7, in this 14 parish, but we'll put one at Cornwall, one at Middlesex, and one at Surrey. So all the parishes that fall on Cornwall, you can't go at that one. Surrey, the same thing, right? And the hospital, and we're gonna make a modern hospital, right? And we have allocated $100.9 trillion to make a modern type of facility hospital. So when your baby mother or your wife come to have baby, you can be a part of it. You can see when the umbilical cord cut. If you are patient, you can stay over with them. Okay? You will have AC, right? And all the burn unit, all the hospital will be fitted out with everything. Right? That's how the Labour Party work. Prosperity for the people. Prosperity for the people.
How much money is it?
Huh?
How much money is it?
$100 trillion US. And there will be, and Mr. Speaker, the greatest thing about this, there will be no new taxes. No, and I say it again, there will be no new taxes. 100 buses coming to the JUTC. And as I say, I kept my promise, $50 per person and $20 for elder. As I say again, no new taxes. Okay? No new taxes. This is what the government are doing for you. And for the pensioners, them, we're gonna raise, because you have worked for this country and you deserve to live well. And for the minimum wages, I pledge $200.9 trillion, and we're gonna double the minimum wage. No other government in this country have done that. None have done that. And I say it to you, your government is working. Time come. Yes, time come. We are working. Right, prosperity, that's how prosperity works. And I'm gonna see that the farmer them get all that they need. Time come. So time come and I will fix all infrastructure parish by parish. So those of you who are farmer, don't worry. We are coming, we're coming. That's how prosperity works. I'm going to kill you. Well, we kill you dead. And as you come to this security, we have now installed a new commissioner with a vision and young and a vibrant. And all of those police officers who are walking, kill people and camera catch, you know, coming for you know, because it is wrong. You can't hold a man, put your hand on his head, and you shoot him. And I say to the Jamaican people, I know it's hard, but put up more camera put up more camera, because if you never put up the camera, this would be, and I call upon the civil society of Jamaica to support me. I want to run water in the 14th parish, but right as it stands, the government alone cannot do it. So we will do with private and public sector. And as for your garbage, don't worry. I have 500 garbage truck coming. So every division we have 2 trucks. So the garbage problem will be over. That's how prosperity works. Government is working for you. Government is working for you. And for the security officers who the court has forget their money and then not get it, I am calling on the private sectors to do what you have to do, because if you don't do what you have to do, then I will have to do something about it. Right? And I'm asking all the fireman, just hold strength. I can't give you a part of it, I can't give everything. But I come in. That's how prosperity works. Right? And out by Boscobel, we have the American airline. They have tourism as boost. Because we have the American airline, Spirit airline, JetBlue will be landing in Boscobel. So, and that will bring 5,000 more tourists to the island. So those of you who live in Boscobel and surrounding area, put up business. You can't make it come as well past, you know. Business. Fix up the shop, paint it up. Tourists are come. So we must get this the cake. I said to again, tourists are come. The country's moving forward. Don't want them on the other side. Because what they're talking is foolishness. They want to talk, but them don't. But we know. And the algorithm is working. For those in the BPO, I know you have it hard. But we have allocated and we talk to the providers them, and them come to an amicable solution. Your pay will be doubled. And the threshold will go to 2.5 million. So if you are not working 2.5, you will both be paying no tax. And as I promise you, no new tax. No other government have done that. And for the part people them, I will put on, again, Nigel. I will triple it. Yes. So every child shall be in school. You can't tell me say people don't get the food. So, Madam Speaker, that is what the government have planned for the country. And with that I heal back. So those of you who want to say something, say. But as I say to my countrymen and women, your Prime Minister is working hard for you. When I go to my bed, I have you on my mind. When I go to my toilet, I have you on my mind. All the way I have you on my mind. And this is what I have to give you. Show a labor right. Dati mo say, Jeffrey. Everybody knows that dati mo say. Yeah, man. Dati mo say. Investors that come here and all who can make furniture, who can make carving. Tourists are come go make carving. That's how I'm going to say.
Oh, Jesus, oh. Belly. No, sir. Thank you very much for calling. We'll say good night tonight, yeah.
Good night.
Good night, my friend. Good night very much. No new taxes. Wow, this is what we're going to say so long for tonight. Everybody have a great night. No, have a great night, everyone. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. No new taxes. Have a great night, everyone. Remember, if you have not liked and subscribed to this channel as yet, please like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Until you hear my voice again tomorrow, God's Spirit Life. You all have a good night. Have a great night, everyone. Thank you, my family, for coming on. Thank you so much for being a part of this program. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And may God bless you all, and may God bless our island home, Jamaica land we love. Have a great night, everyone.
When the game gets rough and this life just seems so tough, make we talk, my people, make we talk. When this town becomes an ugly place, don't let it erase the smile from your face. Make we talk, people, make we talk. Conversation is the key, a guiding light for you and me. Spark a talk and you will see. Conflict solver A to Z. World leaders master the art of self-defense just by talk. So people, make we talk. Hey, we're living in a world that on ourselves we must depend. Make we talk.